This is the Crypto Woman. Recently, I interviewed Mark Helfman, a cryptocurrency author, blogger, and thought leader for another one of my podcasts called Togethering Podcast. I hit the record button and we went down a bunny trail talking about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, blockchain, government, adoption, writing, everything. But it wasn't really appropriate for that format. So I'm offering it here to you as a bonus. It's good stuff.
Hello.
There you go. Hi.
There you go. All right.
Good. Nice to see you.
All right. Look at you. I love that little sign there. That looks great.
That's my new podcast.
Wow.
We'll see what
Really
happens
cool.
with it. We've got to, we're just starting, so we've got to get some momentum going, but.
Right.
Yeah.
What made you think to start a podcast? I know Togethering and everything, but what brought this to your mind that it's something you wanted to do?
Well, I guess I've done the Crypto Woman podcast. The COVID thing's just really heavy on my mind. And I talk to people all the time online. And I realize that everybody has a story, right? Everybody has something to say about this, and it's all relevant and it's all important, and people are holed up in their homes. And a lot of them are they're either shy about the online thing, they don't know how to do it. A lot of people just do the LLOs and the Facebook likes and an Instagram heart, and they think that they're socially connected, right? So I thought, I just woke up one morning with the idea, it's like, do this. And so that's what I'm doing.
That's great. And here I am too. Did you know that I work for the research agency, the U.S. research agency that studies COVID-19?
And are you allowed to talk about it?
I can talk, well, I mean, I can talk
Yeah.
about, I can't talk on behalf of the Institute, but I can talk about really anything you want to ask about. I got the ethics clearance. We're all good. Everything is fine.
So the other things that I wanted to talk to you about is I saw you wrote another book.
Yes.
How's that one going for you?
Well, that one actually went up to number 2 in its category on Amazon.
Mark, wow.
Well, I haven't really looked at it lately. It's way down now, but yeah. It popped up to number 2 among short financial reads of 2 hours or less. Books about people with two left feet. It's like books about people with 3 arms in that category.
Are you writing right now?
Well, so I just started a subscription newsletter, which is taking a little bit of my time from the stuff that I normally publish for the public. So, I publish on Medium, Hacker Noon, a few other outlets.
Right.
And the stuff that I publish on those venues are commentary. They're kind of broader picture commentary. But over the many months that I've been able to publish on different platforms and becoming a top author on Quora, becoming top author on Medium and other venues, I get people, they ask me questions. And a lot of those questions are not so much about the technology or the things that I'm necessarily really super into. Instead, they're asking about things like, is Bitcoin, do you think the price is going to go up? Do you think the price is going to go down? Should I buy altcoins, things like that? And it occurred to me that I was answering these questions like one-off, a DM or an email or this or that. And I was like, and then one person wrote in and said, hey man, you should start buy and sell alerts. And I was like, I don't buy and sell. I'm not a trader. I can't do that. I'm not qualified for that. And he wrote back, he was like, well, you should think about putting these things together as a newsletter. And then I talked to some other people and bounced the idea off of, my wife and some other people. I know some friends and other stuff. And I was like, you know what? I should just do it. Why not? Right?
Why not?
I'm already immersed. I already have the information. I'm already doing the research anyway for myself, for my own edification, to help in the content that I'm already creating. It's not going to take that much more time to put it into a subscription newsletter where I can do a little bit more analysis about markets and market sentiment.
So do we find your subscription newsletter sign up on your Mark Helfman website?
Yes, Crypto is Easy.
Oh.
You can also go straight to it. Crypto is Easy. And the idea is to make it easy. So now my appreciation of cryptocurrency is on the is really the technology and and the social implications. What can you use this for to make the world a better place? That's what made me, that's why I wrote Consensus Land. You know, you create this fictionalized environment where you can see how you can use cryptocurrency for public good and what the consequences might be and how people react and like really focus on people and the way cryptocurrency changes their lives. It's really, really exciting to me. But I also, you know, I am in a fortunate position of being somebody who's really taken an interest in investing across a variety of different asset classes over the past 11 years or so. And while, you know, for the most part, it's real estate, you know, one of the things is having that investor and a big, not a trader's mindset, but more of an investor's mindset, and looking at what's going on with Bitcoin and the data that you see and the way the people react to changes in Bitcoin's price and the network and all the metrics, the data that you can get by studying and analyzing Bitcoin's blockchain. You see these big macro trends unfold. And then, you know, the crypto is easy focuses a little bit more on putting those things into context. So that when people look and they see the prices going up, is it necessarily something that people should get excited about, or are we just waiting for the other shoe to drop? If it's going down, oh no, is it going to crash and die and Bitcoin will be lost forever? Or is this a buy the dip if you're an investor, or this is maybe wait until the dust settles? And those are the kind of things that I address more in Crypto is Easy. I'm still much more excited about everything that's going on in the real world. And I wrote a series of articles for the public about conversations around cryptocurrency, conversations we need to have, things we need to talk about when it comes to cryptocurrency. That's fine, it does well, but you know, if I put out something that says Bitcoin's going to the moon, and that's what gets the hits and the clicks and the likes and things like that. So you got to kind of go where the people are, right?
You know,
that's what the people are really focused on. That's where I need to be. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way it is for now.
Well, when you get those people, assuming that they do more than just like, I found that out, that a lot of people just do that. But if they read it, you have an opportunity to push a little message in there, right?
Yeah, I try to.
I think you and I have shared this before, that it's the reason I'm in this sphere too, is because of the good and the value that I see in it. You know, we study the fundamentals, and, you know, when it all goes plummeting down and the world's in a panic because it is volatile and a lot of people panic, we make these jokes about, I'm still in it because of the fundamentals, right? But hey, it has opportunities. So when Congress was putting together their big recovery package here, they talked a little bit about digital currencies. Of course, that went by the wayside, but when you heard that, what did you think?
It actually prompted me to start drafting a piece that I'll be putting out within the next month or two. And that it's very typical. I worked on Capitol Hill in my 20s. I worked for Nancy Pelosi and some other people. I also worked in government relations for H&R Block. And it's just so typical that the government is going to be responding to the past instead of trying to really get ahead of an issue, which is normal. I mean, it's normal. They have to react to everything. It's hard enough to do that, much less to be able to anticipate all the hypotheticals, get the buy-in from people who don't have any perspective to understand why these future scenarios are important. Things like moving to a central bank digital currency, things like that. It's just, so I mean, we're not going to have a central bank digital currency until, I don't even know. I'm not going to handicap it, but I think it's certainly going to be something that comes after the technology is pretty much worked out. And people think it's right around the corner and they get really excited when they see these things. I would be really, really surprised, given my experience with government, if the Fed moves to central bank digital currency, really any sort of platform that is based on blockchain. Now that could change. If China is wildly successful with what it's doing, maybe that lights a fire under somebody. If Bitcoin really starts taking off, if cryptocurrency really starts taking off and there's a real competitive disadvantage to using the traditional financial rails, that may be impetus, but it's not going to come from somebody being forward thinking and proactive and trying to get ahead on the technology. You know, I think we were really fortunate that in the internet, we had Al Gore, who really, like, I know people joke about how, he made a comment, he invented the internet, but it was really, I mean, the United States would not have been the leader in internet technology if not for Al Gore seeing that situation back in really the late 80s,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to marshal some legislative oomph behind creating a safe harbor and federal government support for development of the internet, which happened in 1991.
And some people think that happened a little bit too fast, that we pushed it maybe too fast. And I've heard that argument as a detraction for Bitcoin and how quickly it's catching on and moving ahead. And some people say that it's moving too fast. What do you think about that?
I think Bitcoin's going to move as fast as people take it.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to take it further because of this situation? A lot of people are pulling their money, obviously, out of the stock market. They're sitting on it or doing something with it. Do you think that when they begin investing in it again, it will go into Bitcoin?
I think it'll be really interesting to see how it goes. I mean, what happened during the financial panic was this rush to stablecoins,
Mm-hmm.
which is underreported. USDC, the market cap of USDC, which is, I think, Coinbase's stablecoin, went up 50%. Tether went up, I think, 35%. We're talking about billions of dollars. Now, for the world economy, that's not a lot of money. But relative to the size of the crypto market, you're talking about a few percentages of people not buying Bitcoin because they worry that that bank's going to go under, mm-hmm. or they want access to dollars. They're in a foreign country. It's hard for them to get real dollars, but they know they can get a stable coin, DAI, for example, USDT. These are pegged to the US dollar. So that is a whole different dynamic. And while that is not something that is necessarily going to prompt the US to move, that is something that could put a lot of pressure on other governments to start really taking a much more proactive interest in making sure that, especially if they're a capital controlled country, where they want to make sure that people's money is kept in-house and not converted into dollars, that could be a really serious issue for a lot of people. And that's one of the things that kind of sparked the concern about Libra, because Libra was going to do something like that. And everybody just went nuts about it. Mm-hmm. Now, there are a whole lot of other issues that got wrapped into the Libra: privacy, the idea of these multinational corporations taking your rights, and other things that you don't have with the stable coins because people don't understand it. People understand Facebook. There are already these associations with Facebook. Stable coins are such a niche product, such a niche commodity that you could, if you went out and said stable coins, people would be like, is that horse money? What is that? I don't understand. What is a stable and what is a coin and what are you talking about? Oh, Facebook is going to do a stable. What? So that's kind of, so that's the thing. That's why I say, look, Bitcoin is going to move as fast as people want it to move. And the same thing with stable coins and everything else. The thing about in the context, if you look at the context that this whole idea of central banks, basically US dollar as a cryptocurrency, was because they were looking for a better way to deliver the financial benefits that the government wanted to circulate around the economy in response to all the financial problems that we saw, that we still see, that are playing out right now. And that would have made for a very, very easy and straightforward payment rail. But operationally, that's not going to help us now.
No, we're not set up.
We're not set up. It's not. And so I think it was one of those things where I think there was an attempt to take advantage of the crisis to really push forward public policy. That people kind of were like, well, we're not going there. Let's keep our eye on the prize. And as this situation plays out, I'm certain that the Blockchain Association, maybe GBA, a Government Blockchain Association, some of the other groups that are now in the public interest realm that are really trying to advocate for blockchain cryptocurrency, those guys will have a little bit more room to gain access and influence and be listened to and be heard. So in that sense, yeah, I think that helps. I would be, like I said, and I hate to go back to this, I would be really surprised if Bitcoin stable coins or any of this stuff, even if Bitcoin just started to boom again, if that would really translate into a central bank digital currency as opposed to some other public policy outcome.
Okay, so that's saying digital currency, but what do you think about just peer-to-peer use of the transfer of funds? This was introduced in what, 2008, right in the middle or end of the last big financial crisis we had, and people had a vision for peer-to-peer payments, cross-border payments, and a whole host of other solutions to what was going on then. Do you see Bitcoin or cryptocurrency playing a similar role or having a part in a similar vision of going forward into the future?
I do. One of the things that we have now is with cryptocurrency is you can create a money system, financial system that allows people to do business with each other, any place, anytime, anywhere, instantly. And as soon as you release it into the wild, it's of global scale. And you can do that from a laptop. So I don't know how you keep something like that from growing and succeeding. I mean, and you look at there's probably tens of thousands of developers working on the Bitcoin blockchain and a bunch of other smaller projects. So when you have all that activity, it will absolutely continue to grow and develop. I think you and I both agree that's going to be the future of money. I mean, if I have to, and the thing is, it's what interests me in talking to people and even in my own personal life is when you stick to the traditional financial system, things are pretty easy because unless you're really poor or you don't have access to the financial system, everything is pretty much set up to work. And then you have cryptocurrency where it's the same thing. Everything is pretty much set up to work. For me, going from one to the other is really, really hard. But just staying in one or the other is very easy. And I find that kind of thing with a lot of people. So I think that it's going to grow. I suspect it's going to go on those two tracks. And people are going to start developing solutions that people use that are based on cryptocurrency. And whether that's Bitcoin or another blockchain, whatever it is, that's what people are going to use. And maybe that's my wallet, my Bitcoin wallet. I can tell you right now for crypto is easy. If I had to use the traditional financial system to give people every time somebody subscribes, I send them $5 in cryptocurrency. If I had to use the traditional financial system to do that, that would be a money loser. It would be really hard to set up. And I'd have to pay. I already look at all the costs it takes for me to deliver that newsletter in the first place, much less than to build in a payment rail along with that. It's like, I don't want to deal with that. But with Bitcoin, I don't have to. I just send it out. Whereas if I wanted to do normal business with cryptocurrency, that's virtually impossible. Nobody wants to use it. Nobody wants to take it. And people aren't really set up for that. What I see changing is there are so many more solutions now coming onto the marketplace that leverage cryptocurrency, whether that's OpenNode or Square, providing basically Bitcoin-enabled payment rail at a fraction of a cost of Visa. You use a credit card payment processing system, it's 3, 4, 5%. And these guys can do it for less than 1%. And so now, like OpenNode, so I'm in touch with these guys who are working on it. And now they have an option. It's something Square is doing, a lot of these guys are doing now, where you settle the payment with Bitcoin using the Lightning Network instantly, but then your funds are preserved as your local currency. And as you get more of those solutions where you get the benefits of cryptocurrency without the costs, that's what's really going to get this thing moving, because that's going to build all the infrastructure around it to get masses of people using it. At that point, then it becomes fairly easy to leverage that as a peer-to-peer network. Right now, it's like, if you don't have your wallet set up, I can't do anything. We can't do business.
It's not even easy to coach people how to set up a wallet. I've tried that, and you just open yourself up to another phone call or another text or another how-to, or I lost this, or what do I do, every time they want to access it. So I'm not in that business at all.
Right.
But yes, it has to become a little bit easier for us. I think it was yesterday I just read, maybe in Forbes magazine, that Coinbase and Visa are going to be making some sort of a partnership.
Yeah. And did you hear about what's going on with Bakkt? I mean, long story short, so there's Coinbase and Visa. There are so many things going on now to make it very easy to use cryptocurrency as a payment rail, without exposing yourself to all the vagaries and risks of the market. And so Bakkt has this idea. It's just an idea right now, which they've done. They have a partnership with Starbucks, and they're using the Microsoft's cloud system to implement a payment option where somebody gets their Starbucks app or any other app you want to build in to basically build into Bakkt's ecosystem that they're creating. You know, they're building this huge marketplace where they can store and custody and allow people access to cryptocurrency for whatever they want to use it for. And so they have a partnership with Starbucks to roll out a payment solution, which allows you to use Bitcoin to just settle the bill. When you pay, you use your Starbucks app. You're not exposed to Bitcoin, or they say you're not exposed to Bitcoin. You have to worry about the changes in price of Bitcoin. And all Bakkt is doing is using the blockchain to settle the payment. And Starbucks gets their payment and they move along. Starbucks doesn't want Bitcoin. The vast majority of people probably don't want to have to fuss with getting Bitcoin, and now they don't have to. And Lightning Labs is doing something like that to compete with Visa, where they're using the Lightning Network to do the same kind of thing, where it's just like a credit card. And anybody can sign up with Lightning Labs to put out this credit card, and you swipe it just like a credit card. Payment goes through and you're using Bitcoin. You're not using the traditional financial system. And I think that's what Coinbase is doing with Visa, although I don't know. I don't know as many details.
It was a sketchy article. Just
really? It wouldn't surprise me at all. And that's also, I go back to Libra. That was one of the things they're thinking about with Libra. So all these things are now getting to the point where you have the actual infrastructure is being built around it, which is really interesting. It's really exciting.
It is. And you know what, Mark? We started talking, and I'm glad I had recording on, so I'll have to edit all of this stuff. and that was good stuff.
Do you want to start over?
Yeah, we'll just start. Hey, today I'm getting together with my friend, Mark Helfman.